This
Is my voice
conference will
audible?
now be recorded.
Yes. Yeah, is my voice audible? Please do respond in chat box. Yes, fine. So, so let us start the session. Still we have 44 logins. Yep. Let us start this. So, my name is Venkat Shivate, working as multi-skill trainer in APS SDC. I have an experience of 3.5 years in embedded systems, IT, machine learning, and data sciences. I have trained around 2,000 plus students and also 250 plus faculties across the state of Andhra Pradesh. I have also assisted many students on their academic projects. And also we have Nagaraju, one of the technical skill trainer from APSSDC here. He has an experience of around 4 years in embedded systems and IT. We also have Vinila, organizer of this meeting. She also an experienced trainer from APSSDC. If you have any queries or if you have any questions or if you are stuck at anywhere, you may ask any one among us. We will try to resolve these issues. Is my voice is audible? Is my voice is clear? Yes, it's fine. No voice. Yes. Is my screen is visible? Yes. So today our topic is all about an introduction to Internet of Things, IoT. It's audible, but louder, sir. I'll do it. Yes, is my voice is clear now? Is it louder? Is it audible? Yes. Please do respond in chat box. No. Couple of seconds. Yes, audible. Fine. So, so topic is today is about Internet of Things, FDP on Internet of Things, faculty development program on Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things, IT will be influencing our lives by the way we react and by the way we behave. From a washing machine which is controlled by a mobile application to a smart car which continuously predicts these traffic updates. Yeah, is my voice is not clear? Is my voice is clear now? Yeah, organizers, is my voice is clear? Please do respond. No, disturbances. Yes. So I think
It's clear, sir.
it's clear. Fine. If the problem is at your end, please resolve it. I think I'm getting. Yeah, I try to speak louder. So this Internet of Things already influence our lives. From a washing machine, which is controlled by mobile application, to yeah, price apart. Let us continue this. So from a washing machine which is controlled by a mobile application or a smart car which continuously predict traffic or a Fitbit which continuously tracks our activities. IT is all the way influencing our lifestyles and improving our lifestyles. Uh, Let us discuss more about this in upcoming slides. So today's agenda is the contents of today's session is introduction to IoT and the need for IoT and IoT use cases, and we'll conclude this with IoT architecture. So let us introduce this IoT. So IoT, what is this IoT? So IoT means Internet of Things. So as you know that Internet is a network of networks. Like it's a medium between our devices that are going to communicate with each other. And this the thing here is literally a thing and any object, a device which have intelligence to connect to the internet. It's like an object embedded with some sensors and hardware. They are far different from our traditional computers and smartphones, right? So it may be a fan or an AC or a refrigerator or a TV. The device which we came across in our daily life. So IT is a platform that where our daily life objects, our daily life devices are connected and interact among themselves. So let me show you something. Here, see, it's a giant network of sensors and devices which are connected to a cloud. It may be a mobile phone or a watch or a smart TV or a smart printer, whatever it is, whether it is programmed, it may be connected. Of course, we need to change some hardware and software changes to the devices. These devices can share data among themselves and act accordingly. These devices, if you have, let us consider a refrigerator, it contains some sensors. Likewise, all the devices that we came across may contain some sensors. Like let us consider your mobile phone, it has a proximity sensor, a gyroscope sensor, a temperature sensor embedded in it. Likewise, let us consider AC. It has also contains a temperature sensor. It continuously reads temperature in our living room and it acts accordingly. Like it turns on the compressor, it turns off the compressors, and based on the temperature that we set for, it acts accordingly based on the temperature. Likewise, let us consider camera. Here, the camera is also connected to this cloud. So, camera is also consists of a image sensor. So, it also consists of some sensors. These sensors will continue to emit some data. So these data will be shared between among these devices for effective working. So there will be a question that what is the use of this generated data and how these devices are going to communicate with each other, how these devices will share among data among themselves. So let me explain this. So it is a common platform. See here, it's a common platform, and all these devices send data with a common language with each other. The data emitted from this various sensor is accumulated in a cloud or a database or a server, whatever it is. And this accumulated data will go through some process, like there will be some data cleansing process. There will be some data manipulation, data cleansing, and there will be some machine learning algorithms also working to filter out this data because we are generating large amount of data, right? So these applications, these processes will filter some data and extract some valuable information from the accumulated or generated data. So these data, these filtered data, will be shared among other devices for better user experiences like automation or improving efficiency. So from this, we can say that IT is a network of devices which continuously emits some data, which continuously takes some data. So there is a common platform there, which is called cloud. These all devices are connected to the cloud. So the connected devices, of course, the connected devices will emit some data because they contain some sensors, right? So these emitted data will be stored in the cloud, and there are some edge computing operations are done for filtering out the data, and the filtered data will be shared among all the other devices. So, so the audio is not clear. Yes.
Sir, audio is not clear, sir. Please speak louder.
Yes. 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 Now my voice audible. Is it clear now? Yes, fine. So I'll continue by this. Am I getting any resounds? Is my voice is getting resounds? This organizer sometimes fine. So maybe due to this network interfaces. Yeah, fine. Let us continue. Fine. So These accumulated data, generated data will be shared among all the other devices. So there are some machine learning algorithms are running out in cloud, and some data manipulation techniques, data cleansing process are running. So this will create a large pool of jobs, large pool of generate a large pool of jobs for all the engineers like data scientists and data engineer, data mining engineers. And of course, it will list an important and also lot of jobs will be created for all the people, and of course all private also. But by this we can say that the data is everything. All the devices will generate some data, and this data will be shared among all other devices. So give me a second. I'll try to rectify the source problems.
Yes, is my voice is now audible? Is it clear now? Yeah, no audio. Is my voice is audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. Is it clear now? Are there any reflections or
Yes, sir.
reasons?
No, no,
Yes,
sir.
it's okay now. Fine. Thank you. Thanks for the replies. So by this we can say that the data is everything. Data is the main fuel for all the operations that are going to work in an effective way. So let us see how much of data that we generated so far. As we as humans, how much data we generated so far now. Let me show you another slide. So see here, from beginning to 2005 of human era, humans created around 130 hexabytes of data. Uh, there will be question that how big this hexabyte is. What is the size of this hexabyte? How much amount of data we can store by using this hexabyte of data? So let us see that. So let us consider letter A. It will take the size of a byte that to be stored in any other devices, like if you are storing this A in any notepad file, it will create a size of 1 byte. So it will take a size of 1 byte. Let us zoom out further. Let us consider a page which is having 1024 letters in it. So it take a size of 1 KB. And let us further zoom it out. It is having, let us consider a book of having 500 pages. So it will take a size of 500 KB. So let us zoom out further. Let us take a library of having 1,000 books, which will take a size of 500 MB for to store all the data in that books. Am I clear? Am I clear up to this? Yes, fine. So let us consider if we started a person, we started recording a person from age 0 to 24. We started recording that person from 24/7 in a camcorder of no, we are using an HD camera for recording this person for 24/7 for 24 years. It will generate the video file that is generated from recording this person. It may generate up to 3072 GB, 3072 GB. It may be equals to around 3 TB of data. So if I want to fit a human DNA in, it takes around 1 GB of data. So let us see. Amazon rainforest is there, the biggest forest in this world. So it consists of 1.4 billion acres of trees, and each acre consists of 500 trees. So it make around 700 billions of trees. If I started cutting down all the trees and I started making paper out of it, and I started writing some data into it. So all the paper that is generated from all the trees I cut it from this forest, it will generate around 1 to 2 petabytes of data. So we are not entered into this exabyte. We are in petabytes only. So let us see what is the size of exabyte is really is. So let us zoom out further. There is an Earth. I started cutting down all the trees from Earth, and I started making paper from the cutted trees. And if I started writing data into it, so it will create 1,000 petabytes of data. So we are not at any exabytes of data. We are at only petabytes of data only. So after cutting all the trees, we started writing on the cutted trees, and we started making paper, right? So what is this exabyte is really? What is the size of this exabyte? Let me show you. So 1 petabyte is equals to 1 and there are 6 zeros there. So it is equals to 10 lakhs of GB. 1 petabyte equals to. So 1 exabyte equals to 1,000 petabytes of data. Am I clear up to this? So until 2005, we generated around 130 exabytes of data. So what is the data which is generated in 2010? Up to 2010, we generated 1,200 exabytes of data. So as you know that from 2005 to 2010, in 2005, the technology in its childhood, like the internet, it started its existence from 2005, and there are no 4G networks at that times, and also the people who are using these internet services are very less. Yeah, I'll share this PPT once the course is completed. And in 2005, there are less amount of enhancements in technology. From 2005 to 2010, there is a smart era is started. Like we do have smartphones, smart cameras are there, and all this stuff. People started generating data when they use their smartphones. They'll capture some pictures, and they started generating some data from 2005 to 2010. We created around 1,200 exabytes of data. From 2010 to 2015, there is a large enhancements of technology is happened in between 2010 and 2015. Like we started with 2G networks in 2010. By the end of 2015, we do have 4G networks, and also there will be an existence of smartphones, and also the technology is drastically increased and enhanced, and people are started using smart mobile phones, and they also started using internet in every way. Like for shopping we are using internet, for online studies we are using internet, and also for everything we are using the internet. So we generated around 79,000 of exabytes of data, 7,900 of exabytes of data. By the end of 2020, the prediction is we'll generate around 40,900 exabytes of data. So now itself we are generating some data, and I'm projecting my screen, and it is connected to internet, and you are watching this video because of this internet. This is live streaming, and if I want to share this recorded session to you, I need to store this data in a cloud. So I am generating some data. This way, humans created around this 40,900 exabytes of data till now. So this will create a large pool of data, jobs in sectors like data science, machine learning, and of course IoT also. So let us go to further next slide. That is impact of internet. So this is this large impact of internet in our daily life. Like in this lockdown situation, because of internet, we are connected. Without internet, we don't know what is happening outside this outside our house also, because we are locked. And this internet plays a major role in education, business, communications, entertainment, and medical and health also. So coming to education, I'm sharing my knowledge, and you are going to share your knowledge to your students by the common platform, which is internet. Without internet, we can't share our data. We can't learn anything by these days, because we are addicted that much to internet. Without internet, nothing will happen in our lives. In business also, we have purchasing something. We have purchasing groceries online because of these online sites. I mean, shopping sites, and also communications. If you want to talk to anyone, if you want to make a video call, the communications plays an important role, and these communications are happening because of this internet. And entertainment, as you know, we do have Netflix and Amazon Prime. We are watching movies, new movies in our home, right away in our home, without stepping out, because of internet. So in fact, this internet is having large impact in our daily lives, like in medical and health also. So we'll discuss about this medical impact of internet and IoT in medical and health in further slides, like in IT use cases. Let us jump to the next slide. So the connected devices. As you see, in 2003, the world population is 6.3 billion, and the total connected devices are 5 billion. So it makes the connected device per user is 0.08% only, because the technology is not that much enhanced in those days. And as you know, in from 2010, the world population is 6.8 billion, and the total connected devices are 12.5 billion. So every person it is taking 1.84 devices per person, coming to 2010 census. Like we do have smartphones, we do have mobiles, and we do have 2 SIM cards in that. So we are creating more than population. The connected devices are more than population, exactly 1.8% more than total population. And as you see, 2015, the connected devices drastically increases. Like here, the world population is 7.2 billion, and the total connected devices are 25 billion. So the people are maintaining smartwatches. I think the smartwatches are not in existence 2015. So the people are using their laptops, their desktops, their smart mobiles. So the connected devices are increased in 2015. As you see, the 2020 analysis. So the total world population is expected is 7.6 billion, and the total connected devices are 6.58 billion. Sorry, 6.58 devices per person. The connected devices are here is 50 billion connected devices. So if you consider me, I'm using a mobile, a smart watch, and a laptop, a desktop here. So the devices are increasing, and no, the needs are also increasing. But that's why we are using a lot of devices in our daily life. This will shows the connected devices per user will be increasing. Am I clear up to this? I'll try to. If you have any queries, resolve. Yes, fine. If you have any queries, you can ask us. Yes, fine. So I'm clear. Am I clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. Thanks for the replies. Let us go for another slide. So what is the need for IoT? Before we do have things, before IoT also we do have things. So what we are going, what is the use of IoT? in with these things before IT. Okay, give me time to note it down. Okay, fine.
Sound visible.
Yes. So before IoT, we do have things, but what we are going to do that with that things? We need to go for every mission, everything. We need to feed some instructions, and we are going to collect some data from these things, and we are transferring the data from single mission to another mission by the human intervention. Like we need to travel, we need to run between all these missions to feed some instructions to get some data from those missions, and all the stuff is done by manually. But with the internet, these devices are connected to a common cloud, so they'll start sharing data among themselves, and they'll act accordingly. It will reduces the human intervention among these devices. These devices will interact, collaborate, and share the data among themselves, and which reduces the human intervention, of course. These devices are continuously in touch with the which we are in touch with among themselves, and they are instructed to what to do, and the devices will adapt the need and modify how they function. They'll change the instructions also. If we are changing the needs and deeds, they'll change the instructions among themselves. They will share the data among themselves and create an ambience for us to effective working. And I'll discuss about this human machine interface in upcoming slides. Like we do have some IoT use cases in industrial automation, so we'll discuss about this in further slides, in upcoming slides. So let us discuss about these IT use cases in our daily life, in our IT use cases in industry or in our daily life. Let us discuss about that. So IT use cases. So I choose many very less IT among all the in million, like in everyday life, IT in healthcare, IT in agriculture, and IT in industrial automation, IT in disaster management, and smart cities. So I choose very less topics among in million. So there are a lot of use cases are there. I choose very less among them. So let us discuss about IT in everyday life. So I think this is the first sector probably for to deploy these IT applications, IT services. So as you know, anything about this IT in the everyday life? So where we are going to use this IT in our daily life, like any things or any devices that are connected to IoT, which is work with for us by the instructions from cloud.
Internet and for accessing.
Sir? So see here, there are a lot of devices are connected. Like we do have a camcorder which is connected to. Yes,
We
yes.
can connect a watch,
Yeah, we can connect our smartwatch. We
smartphones
can
with
connect
watch.
our laptops, yeah, microwave ovens and smart cameras, and also we can connect our mobile phones. Of course, we are connecting it. We do have a smart printer, smart microphone, and all these daily life devices are connected to internet. So they'll share data among themselves. Let us give you an example. Like if you are having an AC in your living room, right? So you need to set up a temperature for that AC. So if I'm setting a temperature of 18 degrees, if the temperature inside the living room will be is decreasing to 18 degrees, the compressor is automatically turned off. There is a microcontroller inside this AC which turns off this compressor. Um, so if the temperature rises yeah, even the devices should be in smart now. So will normal devices work? So I didn't get your question. Even the devices should be smart. Will normal devices work? Yeah, we can make a normal device to a smart device. I'm explaining it. Like let us consider an AC. So we need to normal manual operations, we need to feed an instruction for setting a temperature. So if I'm setting a temperature of 18 degrees, so if the temperature inside the living room is decreased to 18 degrees, the compressor will automatically turned off because of the microcontroller is working backend, right? So what if the microcontroller is connected to internet? So internet is feeding some instruction to the microcontroller. So if the temperature is increases in the living room, the microcontroller reads the temperature by the use of a sensor, a temperature sensor. That the value of temperature will be fed into this microcontroller, and microcontroller will turns on this compressor for increasing the temperature inside the living room. So up to now there is no problem. The AC is working fine, and everything is fine. So we'll look into what is the betterments that we can do by using this IoT. Let me give you an example that if you are you are going to your home from your office. So you are 5 minutes ahead from your home. So you are driving a smart car. What if, I'm just assuming, so if you are driving a smart car which is connected to internet, and your home is also a smart home, like it is connected to internet, and also your AC is also a smart device which is connected to internet. So you are 5 minutes away from your home. Your smart car will send some information, some data to your AC inside your living room. So it will activates, and it will set the temperature that what you usually fix it for, and it will create an ambience before you reach the home. So the time between the decreasing temperature when I started turning on this AC will be reduced, and it will allows you to create an ambience for you, a great ambience for you by using of this IT. So these all devices are connected. So there is a limitation with this, like these devices may hack it, because we can maintain a firmware or antivirus in our laptop, but we can't maintain this firmware in our ACs, right? So there is a little bit limitation. We can update this in further updations in IoT. Am I clear up to this? If you have any queries, you can ask me. Yeah, is I'm clear up to this? And these smart devices are also work as normal, like what we operate normally, they will work normally also. Yes, I think there are no queries. So let us jump into further slides, that is IT in healthcare. So this is the major topic, IT in healthcare systems. So as you see, there are a lot of problems that is healthcare is facing right now. So let us give me an example. Yeah. So there is a question that, can you give us the material for this? Yes, sir. We are documenting everything. We'll share the document by the end of this course. You can go through that document. Yes. Any queries left? Shall I continue?
No, sir.
Fine.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes,
IT. So let us discuss about this IT in healthcare systems. Let us consider a device. Let us consider a device that we have. It will continuously alert us for medicine that are running out, and if the device is automatically orders medicine for us, like we can call it as smart medical dispenser, which stores the medicines and manages our medicines also. And this is a very small piece in a very big picture. It's a lot. It's a very small IT use case in a very big picture. So this healthcare majorly facing a lot of issues, like lack of real-time data, availability of real-time data, unavailability of real-time data, lack of the smart care devices, lack of standard analysis. So IT will provide the solutions for all this. Yeah, is my voice is clear now? Still I'm facing any voice issues. No. So there are a lot of issues with there are a lot of issues to be resolved in healthcare, like unavailability of this real-time data, lack of smart care devices, and lack of standard analytics. So IT will provides better solutions for this, like it can provide a valuable data analysis and through this real-time testing. It also the way to reduce the medical devices cost by the real-time analysis. IT is capable for generating a perfect analysis and data processing techniques by using data processing techniques. Uh, Let me show you uh, the block diagram of this healthcare devices. See here, these are the care devices that are connected. In what way the sensors will help in agriculture? Yeah, we can discuss about this in there is a use case in agriculture, right? So I'll discuss about the sensors that we are that help in agriculture. So we'll have a lot of discussion about this agriculture in upcoming slides. So let me discuss about this IT healthcare. This fine. So this is the block diagram for smart care device. It consists of a care device, a smart sensor, a connection gateway, cloud and remote signal, and smart device. So this care device consists of all the sensors that patient usually connected with. Like it consists of a ECG sensor, it consists of heartbeat sensor, it consists of SpO2 sensor, a temperature sensor. All these sensors are embedded with these care devices. They are connected with internet, like by the connection gateway, and they accumulate all the sensor data to a cloud, and through the remote signal, they are presented to that smart device. So by the end of the smart device, there will be a nurse or a doctor which is monitoring these patient values. So if there is any abnormality is observed with the sensor values of the patient, like the heartbeat is rising up or heartbeat is rising down, uh, and all these sensor values are mirrored at the smart device. So if there is any abnormality observed, the particular person will alert the other nurses or doctors around that patient. So it will reduce the risk of this health, this illness, by using the smart care devices. Let me show you an real-time example here. See here, this guy called Bob, a Russian civilian. He is having some heart problems, and he is wearing a smartwatch, Apple smartwatch. So one day he got some abnormalities with his heartbeat. So he got unconscious, and this smart device which he is wearing is alerted this it activated emergency services, so that he is rescued from that illness. In this way, the smart care devices will help us in our daily life situations. Am I clear up to this? IT in healthcare. So there are a lot of other use cases are there. I'm discussing very few among them in healthcare also. Yes, am I clear up to this? These smart devices, smart watches is continuously tracks our activities and also tracks our heartbeat also. And there are some these smart watches integrated with SpO2 sensors for dissolved blood oxygen levels also. Yes. Any drawbacks? Yeah. Uh, the power issues are the main drawback. Low efficient with power. Like yeah, what are the various sensors used in smartwatches? Yep. So in smartwatches, we usually see these gyroscope sensors and heartbeat sensors, heart rate sensors, and also the proximity sensors for fetching our steps. And some smartwatches will contain this SpO2 sensor for dissolved blood oxygen levels. And also the temperature sensor also embedded with the smartwatches. And the main thing is GPS sensors also interface, like for getting our GPS location. And there are in development SpO2 sensor. I think I don't know the abbreviation for that, but it is used for getting this dissolved blood oxygen levels. Am I clear up to this? Yes. I think SpO2 stands for peripheral capillary oxygen saturation. I just googled it. That's fine. So SpO2 stands for standard for peripheral capillary oxygen saturation, an estimate of amount of oxygen in blood. Yeah. So someone asked me during working with Arduino and other boards, we can with the Wi-Fi, it will disable after some time. Need to reconnect it again. Yeah, there is a loop which is repeating inside this programming. Like for if it is disconnected with Wi-Fi, it will again re-execute the loop whether for connecting this Wi-Fi. So as you see, if your mobile in your mobile the Wi-Fi is turned on, but it is not connected, it is continuously fetch for the devices to connect. It is always fetches the open devices, open security devices to connect. Likewise, we can program our devices, our Arduino board, which is with having ESP8266 sensors modules. We can write a program for reconnecting, whether it is disconnected from any network. We can write a program for that. Am I clear for this? Am I clear on this? Yes, fine. So in this way, these devices in healthcare will help us to lessen the risks about health. It's fine. So this is the most neglected and despite of importance that it holds, that is agriculture. So however, the manual handling often results to loss of energy, labor cost, and other inaccuracies, which make all its process less effective. Internet of Things here provides number of solutions in agriculture, like precision farming, smart irrigation, and smart greenhouse. The first two things, like smart irrigation and precision farming, pretty clear, pretty same, because they contain some sensors that are embedded in our farm. It may be a soil moisture sensor or a temperature humidity sensor. By using IoT, we can maintain a dashboard of all the sensors. Based on the sensor values, we can turn on a motor, or we can turn on a wind fan for providing this humidity and all this stuff. So we can maintain a IoT cloud, IoT dashboard, and all the values that we are having, like the sensor, temperature sensor, temperature from this temperature sensor, humidity from this humidity sensor, and there are also pretty good sensors for detecting chemicals in the soil also. So they continuously emit the data, which they may store them in cloud, and it can automate them. The farmer can have this data anywhere from this world. He can access the data and he control any devices like motors by simply switching on them by using a IoT dashboard. And what about this smart greenhouse? So the smart greenhouse is a new technique to increase the yield by controlling the natural parameters like light, humidity, not only control or monitor. So farmers are not that much educated in this case. Which techniques are used to make them understand and analyze? So the farmers are not that much educated to program these things, but they are educated to control them. Like they can simply turn on the motor, turn off the motor. So we can deploy an algorithm for turning on this motor, turning off this motor, and also for detecting all the levels in the farm. And they can be simply displayed, mirrored by using some analytics, data analytics techniques. So they can be understood by the farmers, as I think. It's a valid question. The farmers are not that much educated, but for that we are maintaining this IoT dashboard. Simply it shows that temperature values or soil moisture levels in a graphical representation or an animated representation. and also the motor state, whether it is an on condition or off condition in a graphical representation. That will be understood by the farmer, whether the motor is on in off condition or on, whether the moisture is lesser. Yeah, if any program collapses means what will happen. So IT is the second thing, but the manual operation is also there. So you can operate it manually if the IT is collapses. Yes. So every electronic device, it has some limitations, like it has some lifetime issues. So we need to continuously monitor them. We need the continuous maintenance is required for these all the electronic components. So the lifetime is based on how well we are treating those devices, how well we are maintaining those devices. The lifetime will based on this. If the program collapses, we can re-upload the program. But if the device collapses, we need to change the device. So what if the sensor is working or not? There will be a question that if the sensor is collapses, what will happen? If the sensor is collapses, if it is not working, means it is not going to generate any data. It will create a none data here in dashboard. So that we can say that there is a problem with that sensor, whether the communication is collapsed or the sensor is collapses. If you are getting any null data, means the sensor is not working. Yeah. So Narasimha Reddy sir is saying that even farmers also operating smartphones without knowledge. They can adapt the smart IoT in agriculture like a smartphone. Yes, of course, sir. Yep. Irrigation officers need to educate them by taking workshops and working. Yes. So there are a lot of enhancements are done in agriculture also, and the field officers are educating them on this new techniques in farming. Like the way if we deployed any IoT application in farming, so they'll adapt with ease, because there are a lot of techniques for operating these IoT dashboards. Like we do have some graphical representation, animations are there, so we can present our data in very better form for as understandable for the farmers. Yes. So any further queries? Any queries are left? Yes. So the time is 11:57. Shall we have a break? Fine. Shall we have a break for 10 minutes? Yes. So meanwhile, we will have some announcements. Yeah, there are some practical sessions are also there. So in these 12-day sessions, there are some practical. This is all about introduction to IoT. From tomorrow onwards, we are entering into these practical sessions. So I already shared a document with you. There is a component list. If there is any availability of shops, you can buy them. So if not, we can have some what the devices use it. You mean that the boards, developing boards or sensors? Yes. So I just shared a component list in the documentation that we shared to you. In that list, we do have an Arduino Uno board and also ESP8266 module or a Node MCU module. Some sensors like some analog sensors and digital sensor I added for connecting. Yeah, how practical sensors are going. If you have any hardware with you, I'll show you. I'll turn on my webcam and I'll show you how the devices are connected. And we do have an online simulation tool for these devices to be connected and getting data from those devices. So I'll show you by online simulation. If you have the devices with you, hardware devices with you, I'll show you how to. I'll tell you how to connect them. Fine. Yes, that's why we are choosing these online simulation tools. Yeah, I know in this lockdown period, the shops are closed. Yeah. I'll prefer online, but if anyone having hardware means they can do by hardware also. The same thing, the same devices, same connections are there, and the same simulation, same program is there for hardware and online simulation also. So without devices, we do have online simulation tools. We prefer online simulation tools for simulating all the devices and programming them online also. Them in online also. Yes. So any questions, queries left? Yeah, I'll share the code. We'll run on our systems. Yeah, I'll share how to program it. What is the software simulation tools we use it, sir? We can use this Proteusite, or else we do have an online simulation tool called Tinkercad for simulating all these modules, all these boards. Yeah, I'll share. I'll instruct you everything for programming all these devices, and I'll share every basic concept with that board also. So don't worry for that. We are starting from zero, right? So I'll explain everything. Yeah, you can make it by the end of the session, by the end of this course. Yeah, we are taking attendance from the login names in this GoToMeeting app. So that's why I announced that please change your names to your names. Fine, thank you. If any queries left, share the software. Yeah, if there are any requirements for software, I'll share in our WhatsApp group. Yeah, we can continue with these sessions without devices, without components also. We do have online simulation tools.
Hello,
Yes, sir, yes.
sir. I log in at 10:10, sir, 10:10 a.m.
Fine, sir.
So
Okay.
my attendee is there or not, sir?
Yeah, you are attended, but change your name to your name, sir, because it is displaying caller 19, sir. Please change your names to your names. Then only you can take attendance for that from this
Okay,
GoToMeeting app.
according to names. Okay, okay, right, sir. Right. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Fine. Yeah. So we'll share this WhatsApp group link in this chat box. So you can join through that link. Yes. So we'll have a break for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Vanilla, are you there? Vanilla.
Yes, sir.
I think you have some announcements, right? Please proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning to everyone. మీకు ఒక డ్రైవ్ లింక్ అనేది గ్రూప్ లో పోస్ట్ చాట్ బాక్స్ లో షేరింగ్ ఇచ్చాము. దాన్ని ఫిల్ చేయండి. ఫిల్ చేసినప్పుడు మీ రోల్ నేమ్, మీది నేమ్ దగ్గర ఏదైతే సీరియల్ నెంబర్ ఉంటుందో రేపటి నుంచి మీ యొక్క నేమ్స్ దగ్గర ఆ నెంబర్ పెట్టుకోండి. ఆ సీరియల్ నెంబర్ యాడ్ చేసుకుంటే దాన్ని బట్టి మేము అటెండెన్స్ అనేది ఈజీగా తీసుకోగలుగుతాము. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ మీకు ఏమైనా వీడియో సెషన్స్ గురించి కానీ అటెండెన్స్ గురించి కానీ ఏమైనా క్వైరీస్ ఉంటే అడగండి. ఈ వీడియో సెషన్స్ అనేవి ఎవ్రీడే ఈవినింగ్ టైంలో మీకు ఒక డ్రైవ్ లింక్ లో షేరింగ్ ఇస్తాము. దట్స్ ఇట్.
Hello. Ma'am, what about the assignments, ma'am?
ఏం అసైన్మెంట్స్ అంటే
అసైన్మెంట్స్ సబ్మిట్ చేయాలన్నది కదా మేడం.
ఎట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద సెషన్స్.
ఓకే ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Okay, let's have a break for 10 minutes. We will resume the session by 11:14. Thank you.
Hello, hello, madam, Vanilla, madam. Hello, hello, Vanilla, madam.
Ma'am,
Hello,
I think she went.
వినిపిస్తుందా?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's audible.
Sir,
I think.
actually, she has kept a link in the group, this meeting.
Yes, yes.
If I open that meeting, that share, that if I open that link, that is nothing visible in the sheets. There are no names and no nothing. Then how can we remember our IDs?
I think they'll update the sheet with your names and numbers also.
Okay,
I think.
currently the sheet is empty only, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sheet is empty, sir. Sheet is empty.
Yes, ma'am. She sent this sheet. I think they are going to add some data into that sheet, followed by
Okay,
name
once
with
the
name.
data is updated, then only we can register our, we can note down the names and register IDs. Later, we can register with the same IDs whenever we come to the meetings.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it okay? Okay,
Yes, ma'am. That's okay. Fine.
sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, I'll resume the session. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. So I think in that sheet you need to fill out your names, and we'll assign some numbers to that names. So from tomorrow onwards, you are going to log in through that number, through that ID that we are going to give you. And coming to the PPTs, we will share you all these PPTs at the end of this course. Don't worry about that. So the topic here is the greenhouse, smart greenhouse, IoT smart greenhouse. This is the new technique for increasing the yield of crops. Like it will control the parameters like light and humidity by the way we require. By the way, link. Ask me about the link. Yeah, may I know who is this? My name, MY. Please change it to your name so that we can take your attendance, today's attendance. We'll share all these online links, books, PDF files, and course, etc. Yes, we can share them. And please change your names to your name so that we can take your attendance, today's attendance. And these parameters like the humidity, temperature, and soil moistures will be monitored, and also they will be controlled by using some IoT applications. So this type of greenhouse technique will be useful for increasing the plant yield, and also the plants which are not grown in certain places. Like if you consider the apple plant will not be grown at our areas, so we can create an ambience for the plant to grow, like greenhouse. Am I clear up to this about the IT and agriculture? So that I can proceed for further. If it is clear, please do respond in chat box. Yes, fine. So the next thing is IoT in industrial automation. Of course, there are also some issues in industrial automation like inconsistency in data entry and time consumption, production reporting, lab and staff training cost, and also lack of security. So as you expected, I'll say that IoT is again comes rescue of these limitations. Like by using IoT, you can optimize the packaging and makes the quality test so much easier than to run. And also there is no more worry about this training of staff, and a lot of stuff is going on Sundays also. And these factories pretty much run on their own without any human intervention because all the things are automated. So for someone asked me about devices and software required for establishing the IT lab, approximate pricing and list of vendors you may. Yeah, see, for establishing IT lab, there are a lot of components are required, and we can't say that the particular component is enough, because you can connect this temperature sensor to an ODMC board, or you can connect it to any ESP8266 module. You can transmit data from that module to a cloud. But the cost of ESP8266 is around 200, but the cost of Raspberry Pi is 4,000. So we can predict the device, the particular device is enough for establishing these IoT connections. So I'll share some list of devices to my knowledge, and the softwares are also, there are a vast number of softwares are available for making for creating this IoT lab. Approximate pricing and vendors, we do prefer online for purchasing all these components. So if we have any vendors regarding this from APS SSDC side, I'll share them. So what is tomorrow? Someone posted a question about tomorrow. Sir, what is the question that you are trying to ask for? if there are any no queries, means I'll proceed for further. IT in industrial automation. Someone, what is the question, sir? Krishna Reddy. Krishna Reddy. You stop it tomorrow. I think he's typing. So we'll proceed. So there are a lot of limitations in industrial automation, like lack of inconsistency of data entry, and all this we can rescue. We can resolve them by using IT. So IoT we can optimize by using IT. We can optimize this packaging, and we can make the quality test with ease easier to run, and also there will be no struggle about this labor and staff training, because all the get my name. I didn't get my name. So are you asking about the sheet that you shared for? So we shared a sheet, but there are no names in that. Are you asking about that sheet? Yeah. So organizations will take care of it. So by using IoT, we can optimize the packaging, and also we can reduce the labor and staff training, because there are no manual operations are happening by using IT. So all the things are automated. And we'll proceed for further, that is IoT in disaster management. Yeah, these are the solutions that IoT can provide for industrial automation, that is optimization, quality control, cost efficiency, and security. So let us proceed for further, that is IoT in disaster management. Yeah. So of course we have witnessing a lot of disasters that are happening in our daily life. By using IoT, I can say that we can't reduce, we can stop these disasters, but we can somewhat reduce the destructions that has happened by these disasters by using any IoT applications, IoT devices. So see here, I just attached an image, a few images of forest fires. This year we do have a lot of forest fires in Australia, right? So what if you had a device which continuously monitors the temperature and fires and smoke, humidity in the forest, and it continuously sends that information about all these values to a control panel, which is operated by some other persons. What if the device is continuously monitoring the temperature values or all the sensor values in temperature, if anything any abnormal state is happened, any change in temperature values, or if the sensor detects any flame, means it will automatically alerts the officials who are screening this of this forest. So they can start immediately, and they can take an action immediately to stop that forest fire. What if I have a device? So IT will provide a lot of solutions for this controlling these disasters, and it may not stop these disasters, but it will help us to reduce the destruction that is happened by the disaster for a certain extent. So it will alert us. Am I clear up to this? If you have any queries, you can ask me. Yes, fine. Yes, fine. So the next IoT use case is IoT in smart cities. This is the most important thing, and IoT yet to be deployed in our daily life, that is smart cities. So see here, there are a lot of devices are connected. Like we do have a temperature sensor here. We do have a railway system, which can be automated by using IoT, and we do have a smart car, smart camera, smart electricity, and smart bicycles, smart motorcycles. Actually, these smart motorcycles are already deployed in certain places. Like we can deploy a IT application called smart weather monitor for reading all these dissolved oxygen levels in air and all. So let me give an example about this smart car. Like So where should I fill the form? So organizers, there are a lot of questions about this form. Please resolve them. Yes. So IT in smart city. So if you have an smart car, so if you are driving to a certain place, so you'll immediately start browsing these maps. It's an IT application. So it will show you all the details about the traffic that you're going on your way. So if there any accident happened in that place, a smart camera is placed on that the place which continuously monitor that road. And if there is any management, any any management is required, any maintenance is required for that road, and it will be reflected to your smart car. So that smart camera detects the maintenance information, and it will be sent to a cloud, and the cloud will send information to your smart car about that maintenance in that road, and if the road is closed, it will show you in another way, like the way. So and also in railways also there are a lot of things are happening with signaling. So if you can deploy any IoT projects, IoT application to that smart railway system for getting all the signal values, you can control the signals by using IT console, IT application. We can maintain an IoT dashboard for controlling all these signals. By this way, we can deploy all these IT applications, IT devices to make a city smarter. Am I clear up to this? If you have any queries, you can ask me in the chat box, and we'll proceed for further if there are no questions. Am I clear up to this? Yes. Am I clear up to this? Yes. So let me show you in a video what if we deployed IoT in our daily life. What it is deployed for its 90% extent. Let me show you in a video about this. Um,
Yes. So it seems we should pretty cautious about the notifications each and every day. Yes, of course. There will be an algorithms will be running inside, like in IT cloud. It always generating some notifications. If we react for that notification, it's okay, and or else it can generate some default. It takes some default inputs and it will act accordingly. And also there is a question about. Sir, are there where it is used till now? Yes, of course. In some devices, this IoT is applied. IoT services are deployed in some devices. Like we do have some smart cameras, right? It automatically detects any motion, and it activates and it starts capturing the images, and it will send to our emails. So we have a lot of things in which IoT is already applied. Like we do have these smart fit bands. And also the smart security systems already deployed in some services, some sectors, but it yet to be deployed in other services also. Am I clear? So IT is in its childhood in this industrial automations. In there, IoT is yet to be deployed because yes, it is. Yes. Are there any questions left? Are there any queries left? Shall I proceed for further slides? Nothing. Yes, fine. So now the predictions. It is expected that there will be a 41.6 billion connected IoT devices by the end of 2025. Yes, don't worry about these PPTs. We will share all the PPTs. And the predictions, coming to the predictions, it is expected that there will be a 41.6 billion connected devices, IoT devices, by the end of 2025. Sir, where we can find the sensors? Which sensors, sir? Are you asking about these IoT sensors or any normal sensors? Which sensor? What sensors that you are asking about? So it may generate data around size of 74.6 zettabytes. So 1 zettabyte is equals to 1000 exabytes. So it will generate around $1,000 billion of revenue by using due to these IoT applications, IoT services. It is expected thing, but we don't know what is the reality. That is for the proceed for next slides. So where all this started? So we are in an industrial revolution. We are in smart devices revolutions, and the devices are getting smaller and smaller. The sensors are also getting smaller and smaller. So where all it started? Let us see here in 1960 scenario. Here the mainframe systems are there, which are built by using some vacuum tubes. So they are pretty big. A normal computer will takes a space of a room, 1,000 square feet room, 100 square feet room, because of this large size vacuum tubes. After the invention of these transistors in the place of vacuum tubes, the size of these computers will be is reduced somewhat in 1970s and 1980s. And you know the scenario from 1980s, like there are some personal computers. All these transistors are integrated into a single chip called IC, integrated chip, and then the IC also getting smaller and smaller, and the very large scale integration came into existence, and they deployed a large billion number of transistors in a small sized integrated chip IC. After ICs, we do have onboard chips, and also the nanotechnology came into existence. See here, there is a sensor, mm scale sensor in this coin. I think is it visible to you? So we are having this pretty small type of sensors in our daily life. Like if you disassemble your phone, you may get a lot of sensors in that. So there are a lot of sensors. The size is getting reduced and efficiency is increased because of this Moore's law. All are obeying, satisfying this Moore's law while designing the things. So when they increase in the years, the size will be decreased and the efficiency will be increased. They are following this motto. And here is the final thing of the session, that is IT architecture. So there are different IT architectures are there. I'm just referring this IEEE format, which is reference model, IT reference model. So if you are designing any IoT device, or if you are deploying any IoT application, it should follow these 7 layers. Like it should have a physical layer, it should have a connectivity layer, it should have a edge computing layer, it should have a data accumulation layer, data abstraction layer, and application layer, and finally collaboration process layer. So if you design any IoT device, it should have these following 7 layers, from physical layer to collaboration process layer. So it should satisfy all these layers. Without any of this layer, your device will never be an IoT device, or your application is not no more than an IoT applications. Like see in physical devices and controllers, all the setup that physically available, like if you are using an IT TV, a smart TV, the physical devices like the screen and the speakers and all the sensors that is inbuilt in this TV should comes under this physical devices and control. So all the physical components that what we are using in this IoT device will be comes under this physical devices and controllers. So if the device is using any controller, means it is also a physical device. So it comes under this physical devices and controllers layer. If and also it should be connected. Whether the form of connection may be different, like if you are using any LoRa connection, if you are using any Wi-Fi connection, or if you are using any Bluetooth connection to the device, it should be connected. It should generate some data and it should be transferred. And there is a layer called edge computing. So we are generating large amount of data, and there is no space for storing all this data. So the data should be filtered, and we need to extract some valuable information by using some edge computing techniques. So after connectivity layer, so we are generating some information, we are transferring that information through the connectivity layer. And here in edge computing layer, the data will be filtered by using some manipulation techniques and data abstraction, and there will be an algorithm is running for extracting valuable information from the data. So all the extraction, all the data will be stored, will be filtered, and it will filter some valuable data and valid data by using some edge computing techniques. These data will be accumulated by using edge computing layer, by using this data accumulation layer. And the accumulated valuable information should be transferred to other devices. So for that, it should be extracted. And the extracted data will be transferred to the other devices. It makes an application. The end user applications, like if you are maintaining, if you are displaying the data in a console or a dashboard, the console and the dashboard will comes under this application layer. And the final layer is collaboration process. So it involves the people and the business process. Like let us see, if you want to purchase anything from any online site, if you browse for that device, for that component that you want to buy, and if you close it at online shopping site, and then later on you opened any Facebook page or any Instagram page, it will show some some references or some predictions based on what you search in that any online shopping site. So there will be generation of cache, and the cache will be used for displaying all the all the references for what you buy. This will comes under collaboration and process. So all the applications will communicate among themselves by the data generated from one application to another application. There is an algorithm is running backend for giving you the references. for what you want to buy and what you want to purchase, all these things. So if you are designing any IoT device or any IoT module or IoT any application, it should follow all these 7 layers. So the first layer is physical devices and controllers, and the second layer, it should connect it to any network by the means of communication protocols, or by the means of a Bluetooth, or whether it is wireless or wired, whatever it is, it should be connected. And these connected devices will continuously emit some data. It should be filtered, and the work of filtering is done at edge computing layer. And the fourth layer is the data accumulation layer. Here there will be question for where we have to store the data. So the data will be stored in any database or any cloud or any server, and the stored valid data will be accumulates in the cloud, and it should be abstracted in the 5th layer. And the 6th and 7th are the user layers, like the users come into existence in 6th and 7th layers. It will be an application and collaboration and all. Am I clear up to this about the IoT architecture? So there are a lot of other architectures also there. So I'm selected among them the reference model from IEEE. Am I clear up to this? It follows IEEE standards for designing an IoT application or an IoT device. Am I clear up to this? Yes, if you have any queries, you can ask me. So in physical layer, we do have all the physical components. So I just showed some physical devices from Arduino. So all these are the microcontrollers in collaboration layer. Okay. What exactly happens is if any layer is failed here, like we have all the layers, right? Like we do have this edge computing layer, connectivity layer. If the storage is exceeding for what I purchased for, it will be reflected at collaboration process. And this collaboration process layer is maintaining all these 6 layers, and it will show the notifications like we generated in the previous video, right? So the entire collaboration process, all the end users will come into existence. So they'll show how the entire process, like if the physical device is working, if the connectivity is okay, the data is accumulating, or the data is abstracting, entire will be maintained at this collaboration process by the end users. Am I clear? And the final thing is the notifications are generated, the controlling will happen in the collaboration process layer. And in an application layer, the showcase of all the details, all the data will be done. Am I clear up to this? Yes. Yes. So in physical layer, all the hardware components are in this physical layer. Like if you are using any microcontroller for designing an IoT device, the microcontroller comes into the physical layer. And if you are using any microprocessor for designing an IoT device, the microprocessor came into existence. It may contain all the sensors, transducers, and actuators, and all this stuff are here in this physical layer. So the physical environment consists of all the boards, all the hardware components in this physical layer. So I just showed some boards here, which comes under physical layer. And so what about these sensors, transducers, and actuators? What are these? What is meant by a sensor? What is meant by a transducer? What exactly is this actuator? Can I have responses for this? What is a sensor and actuator, transducers? Yes.
Sensor is a sensing device with the gas, water, or any medium.
Okay, fine. Yes. Any other responses? The sensor which senses any physical quantity. Okay. Electricity into mechanical or motion. Is that a sensor, sir? What, sir? Electricity into mechanical nature motion. What is that meant by? Sensor senses parameters, okay, parameters and converts to digital. Okay. There are a lot of analog sensors also there. Sensors is not only meant for only digital data. They can also handle analog data. They can also produce an analog signal also. Yeah, transducers converts one form of energy to another form of energy. Electric motor is a transducer which conversion of
Transducer
electricity into
converts
mechanical.
one form of quantity into electrical quantity.
Yes. Yes. Yep. So a sensor is a device which converts one form of energy to another form of energy. Yeah. So the sensor, if you are considering any ambient light sensor, it takes input from light and it converts to electrical form. So sensor is a device which converts one form of energy, like either it may be any physical quantity of energy, to an electrical form of energy. So the output from sensor is an electrical signal. But in case of transducers, the input form may be other format, the output form may be other format. It will convert electricity into mechanical motion or mechanical motion to an electrical signal. So the both ways a transducer works. Like let us consider a microphone. So it takes audio signals, audio impulses, and it converts to an electrical format of signals. But in case of speakers, both are transducers. The speaker converts electrical impulses into sound signal. The electrical motor is a transducer conversion of electricity into mechanical energy. We can call it, we can better to call it as an actuator. Actuator which converts any electrical signal or any form of signal into mechanical format. So it is the actuator. So what is the passive and active sensors? So we will discuss about more in about sensors in upcoming slides. Let me introduce what is about sensors, transducers, and actuators. Actuator converts electrical energy into mechanical energies. Yes. So the final output from actuator is the mechanical energy. Whether the input format is maybe different. It may be an electrical signal or light signal. The input format, there is no matter for input format, but the output format is the mechanical motion for the actuators. But about the sensors, the input format is different, but the output format, hydraulic actuators. Yeah, for hydraulic actuators, the input is hydraulic energy, and the output is mechanical motion. Am I clear? Yes. So the transducers are a little bit different. Thermal actuators, yeah. The better example for this thermal actuator is bimetallic strip. We are giving input in the form of heat energy. The output will be a mechanical motion. Like the dielectric plate will be bended based on the temperature that we are feeding for that actuator. Yes. So there are pretty good questions are here about the sensors and transducers and actuators. Fine. So am I clear up to this about sensors, transducers, and actuators? There are a lot of sensors are there. Sensors are not meant for any digital signal. There are a lot of analog sensors also there, which sensors which gives us output in analog format. But the main thing is the output is an electrical signal, whether it is any analog signal or digital signal. But the output should be in electrical format, which is read by a microcontroller or a microprocessor, because our microcontrollers only accept the input in electrical format, but it can't directly sense this light or this sound. We need a medium between the physical quantity and this processing unit. In between them, the sensor came into existence for converting these physical quantity values into electrical quantity of signals. Yeah, I'm sure sure, sir, I'll provide. Yep. So someone is more curious about this PPT. I'll share that. Don't worry about that. Yes. So can you give me any examples for the sensors that we use daily in our life and in our daily life? Pressure sensor, yes. So pressure sensor is a device which takes input in the format of pressure, which is applied on that sensor, and it converts that pressure into an electrical signal. The best example for this pressure sensor is piezoelectric sensor. It takes input in the form of pressure, strain, and it produces electricity tangential to the pressure applied. The proximity sensor, there are a lot of examples. IR sensor we daily use in our daily life, like we are controlling our televisions by using this IR sensor. There is an IR transmitter in our remote, and there is an IR receiver at your TV. So
Gas
sensors, yeah. Yes.
Water level indicator.
Yep. Motion sensors, yeah, the motion sensor like a PIR sensor. So this motion sensor and IR proximity sensors are pretty same. Both are same. Light sensors. So for light sensor, we do have photodiode sensor, LDR, light dependent resistance, and many more. Yeah. So as we ultrasonic sensor, yeah, it's a good example. So all these sensors we are going to interface to that IoT, like for reading values, physical values, and we can upload all these values to a cloud. IR sensor, proximity sensor. So what are the examples for this transducers? Can I have examples for this transducers? Biosensors. Microphone, yes. So microphone takes input in the form of sound impulses. It will converts. No, sir. No, these transducers and actuators are not same. Transducers is separate thing, and actuators are separate things. Actuator is a subset of transducers. We can say that. Yeah, loudspeaker is also a transducer. Temperature, pressure, yes. So actuator, the output from actuator is a mechanical motion. It takes input in any format, but it generates an output in mechanical motion, in mechanical energy. But in case of transducers, it takes any form of energy as input, and it generates any form of output as any form of energy as output. So there is no limitations. That format of an input is this. The format of output is this. Op amp is op amp is a sensor or any actuator or any transducer? Operational amplifier. Is that a transducer? Okay. Yes. So here I included forensic investigation. For forensic investigations, so I don't know any sensors which is useful for. I'll explore about this forensic investigation sensors, and I'll get back to you tomorrow session. It's a good question. Yes, thermometers. Yeah. So thermometers comes under whether it is a transducer or a sensor or actuator. See, in normal thermometers, there is a mercury. There is a liquid called mercury. It will expand. So the input is here heat, and the output is it expands and creates a mechanical motion. I'm saying about the traditional thermometers, the mercury thermometers. In that case, the thermometer is it's an actuator. But as you see, if you have a thermal sensor, it's a sensor. Accelerometer, yeah, it's of course it's a transducer. Antenna takes input as an electrical signal, and it converts it into. Sorry, it takes input from radiation signals. It convert to electrical impulses. Yes, fine. Yeah, thermometer is a measuring instrument. Dynamometer. Yeah, what is this dynamometer? Is that any kind of dynamo or any device which is used to read the data from this dynamo? Force transducer. Okay, fine. So let me explain the sensors here. I added. There are a lot of sensors here. Like see here, this one is a gas sensor, which detects gas inside in atmosphere, and it's a potentiometer, and it's a soil moisture sensor, and it's a PIR sensor, passive resistance sensor. It's a physioelectric sensor. It's a flame sensor, vibration sensor, IR sensor, joystick. Joystick is also a type of sensor which converts mechanical motion into electrical signal. Give me some examples of actuators. Like electrical motor is an actuator, right? It takes input in the form of electrical signal and it converts into mechanical motion. Also, we do have thermal actuators like bimetallic strip, MCBs. There are actuators. Servo motors is also type of actuators. Solenoids, yeah, it's a type of actuators. It takes input as an electrical signal and it will convert the output in the form of solenoid movements. Yes. So we'll discuss more about these sensors and transducers, actuators in tomorrow session. So the time is 11:59. If you have any queries, you can ask me. So I'll conclude this session. I'll end this session. So far we discussed about IoT introduction to IoT, and we discussed about need for IoT, and also we've seen about IoT use cases, and the final thing we discussed about the physical layer devices in IoT architecture. So there is a lot to discuss about this physical layer. So we need to discuss about the microprocessor. In tomorrow's session, we're going to discuss about this microprocessor, differences between this microprocessor and microcontroller, and we will discuss more about the sensors and actuators and transducers. So what about these assignments? So there is no assignments today. So we'll have an assessment test by the end of this course. So I am not maintaining any notes for the class. These 2 days we would have this introduction, and upcoming sessions are all on hands-on. So it's better to make a note by yourself. We are not providing any notes, but we do provide a documentation, detailed documentation about all the content and what we discussed in this session by the end of this course. The programs that we are going to design in this session and everything will be documented, and I'll share this document by the end of the course. Don't worry about the notes for the class, and I'll share this PPT. Any queries left? Sir, can you provide any important projects and IoT? Yep. I won't say this important means everything is important. Even basic thing is also important. So I'll show you how to interact with cloud, how to transfer the data to the cloud, and you make projects on the feeding data. Like I just show you how to interact with this all the sensors with cloud, how to interconnect them, and how to fetch the data from cloud, how to publish the data to cloud, how to operate things using cloud, and all this stuff. I'll discuss about this in this section, and all are hands-on. Yep. So we already shared a document. In that I mentioned all the components that we are using in this session. Like we do have NodeMCU modules. We are going to use NodeMCU modules and some DHT11 sensors and some ultrasonic sensors, PIR sensor, and also we are using this potentiometer, and some will control some LEDs, Yes, fine. So I'm closing the session. The time is already 12 o'clock, 12:02. So if you have any queries, you can ask me. If no, I will end this session. We'll conclude the session. Thank you. Fine. So please go through the document that I shared to you. So if any possibility is there, please buy the components that I added in that component list. If you don't have the components, it's okay. You'll have an online simulation. I'll show you every detail about reading data and publishing the data and all. Fine. Thank you. Thanks for the replies. So yeah, I'll share the download links for tools. It's better to not to use the tools. We go for online simulation. Everyone will go with the online simulation tools. It's better to go for online simulation because installing the system may supports or not. But online simulation, there is no such limitations. So we'll proceed for online simulation. Because many people don't have hardware with them. Yes. Fine. So I'm ending this session. Thanks for the replies. We'll meet again tomorrow 10 a.m. Thank you. Which we'll use by tomorrow session. We are not going to use any hardware from tomorrow session. I'll explain all the simulation tools that we have for taking online simulation, and I'll explain all the softwares that normal programming will help will be used. So if you don't have any queries, you may leave this meeting. You may leave this meeting. Tomorrow timings from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The same timings. Okay, fine. Thank you. Have a great day. No, we don't have any feedback for this day. So we'll have feedback from by the end of the course, this course. Now we are taking attendance from the login names. Yeah, from login names we are fetching attendance. From tomorrow onwards, we do have some. Yeah, same link for all these 12 days. The link is same. So your name is displaying Putta Hamlata, VIT University, Vellore. Thank you. Thank you. Fine. Yes, fine. Okay, man. That's okay. Yep. So I'm ending the session. Thank you. Have a nice day.